You make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Well, good evening and welcome into Greeny Sports Cards Live, the world's very first multi-stream broadcast for the hobby industry. We are going on well over 2 years now, week over week, every Tuesday night, where we come to you live at 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. And tonight is a very, very special St. Patrick's Day green edition of Greeny Sports Cards Live. And we have another jam-packed show for you this evening, which we will let you know right now in the rundown. Lots to get to in the hobby tonight. Of course, we will cover the big breaking news, and we have a very special guest to help us with that, someone who helped break that news. Danny Black, the editor-in-chief of Collectibles on SI, will be with us a little bit later to talk about hobby news and what's going on throughout the collectibles industry. We will also talk with John Kaufman later on of For Collectors. John is a host of the For Collectors podcast and a longtime vintage collector and very immersed in the hobby. So lots to talk to, as well as John will share a very special event that's going to take place here in a couple weeks in Northeast Ohio. So we will get to hobby news. We will get to Card Show Live, where we'll take you across the country and hear about the hottest card shows taking place. This week, we'll go from Maryland to New Jersey to New York to here locally in Northeast Ohio, and of course, down south in Columbus, near Columbus, for the Grove City Card Fest. So lots to get to tonight. And with that, we will welcome in the man himself that allows us to do this every week, and the namesake of Greeny Sports Cards and Greeny Sports Cards Live, Steve Greenberg, a.k.a. Greeny. Let's go ahead and welcome Greeny to his show. Good evening, Greeny.
Jeremy, thanks for having me again every Tuesday like you always do. A happy St. Patrick's Day, a happy March Madness tip-off day, and another week of Greeny Madness. So a lot going on.
There's a lot going on, Greeny. Speaking of madness, I don't know how national this news went, but here in Northeast Ohio, it is absolute madness. We had last week, it was 70-degree temperatures here in Cleveland. It snowed today. We get another snowstorm, and we had a 7-ton asteroid crash above our heads in Northeast Ohio today. About 9 a.m., there was a sonic boom, and the place went nuts. We didn't know if it was an earthquake, what was happening, if something else was going on in the world today. You never know. And as the news started percolating out, it turns out it is a meteor, and it turns out it was a major asteroid. About 40,000 miles per hour ripped through the atmosphere, detonating with a force of 250 tons of TNT. It actually came in above Lake Erie and around the Lorain area, and then it fragmented about 30 miles above Valley City in Medina, which is right about where the Medina County Collectors Convention is held. And doesn't Doesn't happen very often, Greeny, but we got hit with an asteroid today.
But interestingly enough, in the collectible world, I mean, so what I heard to the news stations, they have it kind of parceled off to where they know where debris might have fallen. And I'm sure there's people out there looking for pieces of wreckage, and that stuff becomes collectible.
100%. I had half a mind to go out there too and find a piece of a meteor. I wonder what that would go for out in the interwebs. But nonetheless, lots to get to. It is March Madness. People have asked us who we're rooting for locally. Well, we've got a rooting interest in the MAC team, certainly Akron, with some of the cards we did there. We've got Zippy, of course. We've got Shema. We'll bring him up here as well.
Yeah, he had a couple of big shots in the MAC tournament, and now they're a number 12 seed. And if you've ever filled out a bracket before, I don't know what the percentages say, but more often than not, I think 12s beat 5s. It's probably not. They probably don't beat them more often, but it certainly seems like they do. And I would think a lot of people will pick Akron to beat Texas Tech this week.
Yeah, they're a tough team led by John Gross, of course. 3 straight MAC tournaments, and just remarkable. We got to see them play in person. Miami got all the buzz this year, going undefeated in the regular season. Akron's really tough, and they might be the best team in that conference. So do not sleep on the Akron Zips. So we saw Jeremy Allen checked in. Coincidentally, Allen is my middle name too. So space stuff is amazing. If you want to comment on the show, please do. Wherever you're watching, whether it's on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube or Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you're checking in on the multi-stream, comment on the show, ask our guests questions, interact with us, and we will bring you into the fold as well. It's part of the fun here. So, Greeny, outside of that, lots to get to. We're going to talk to John coming up about the trade night after the big show coming up in a couple of weeks here. We've got Danny Black to talk about some big hobby news. And then, of course, we cannot do this show or any of the shows for that matter, whether live or broadcast, without the support of our sponsors. And we want to thank one of them right now in Giannino's.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm a year older now, so Mommy can give me Giannino's pizza. Hey, whoever thought of making a great tasting Giannino's pizza with all these fresh ingredients? They gotta be some kind of genius. More, Mommy.
Every Giannino's pizza is made with fresh dough, delicious tomato sauce without additives or preservatives, and fresh provolone cheese shredded daily. For a location near you, go to Gianninos.com.
You want a piece of me?
I had some on my salad. Their dressing is terrific, as long as their pizza and wings and everything else. But their dressing is out of this world, and I have it every night. So get yourself some Giannino's if you're in Northeast Ohio.
Yeah, or anywhere in Ohio. That's the theme of this evening, out of this world. And great chicken, salads, pizza, breadsticks. Check out Giannino's. We thank them for their continued support. Time now, before we get to the big hobby news, we're going to get to hobby hits, talking about this week in the hobby, the week of March 17th. Of course, the Whatnot lawsuit is dominating headlines. The industry is buzzing. Some are saying the hobby implications are enormous. Others have kind of shrugged it off, saying nothing will come of it. We'll break all that down a little bit later with Danny Black and hear what he has to say. What else he's had to say already. Collectibles on SI reports a surge in interest around the forgotten 90s inserts. A wave of collectors rediscovering 90s basketball and baseball oddball inserts, with prices climbing as nostalgia cycles back toward the junk wax era gems. Sports Collectors Daily confirms Panini is launching a new, quote, instant classics lines, fresh print on demand series focused on historic sports moments, starting with early season MLB highlights, a move aimed at competing with Topps Now. Collect broke the story this week on a major vintage football market spike. Early career cards of Dan Marino, Barry Sanders, and Jerry Rice are trending upward as collectors shift toward long-term blue-chip legends. Beckett reports a sharp rise in grading volume across TCGs, with Pokemon, Lorcana, and One Piece submission jumping significantly in March, and Beckett noting TCG grading is outpacing sports 3-1 this month. Athlon highlights a sleeper release gaining traction, the 25-26 Panini Impeccable Soccer. Collectors are praising the metal cards and on-card autos, calling it one of the strongest soccer products of the year. Go GTS spotlights a surprise hit, 2026 Leaf Metal Pop Century. Celebrity autographs from Pedro Pascal, Jenna Ortega, and Timothy Chalamet are driving early market heat, with breakers calling it the most fun rip of the month. And a reminder, admission and autograph tickets are now on sale for the Strongsville Sports Collectors Convention, co-located with the Great Lakes Collectors Convention, April 10 through 12. There's over 20 autographed guests announced, with more to come. And with that, more hobby news will be coming up with our resident hobby insider, Danny Black, editor-in-chief of Collectibles on SI. And with that, we will go ahead and welcome in one of the sharpest editorial voices in the hobby today. Danny Black is the editor-in-chief of Collectibles on SI, the hobby news and analysis vertical of the Sports Cards Nonsense Network. It's a platform that's quickly become a go-to source for trusted reporting, market insights, and long-form storytelling across sports cards, memorabilia, and the broader collectible world. So it is our pleasure to welcome back to the show, Danny Black.
What is going on, guys? Good to see you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for joining us. Whirlwind of a couple days, and the story that broke, and we'll get into that first, and then we'll go into some other things, that everything that's going on with Whatnot. And we've seen that Paul Lesko has filed some things that you'll tell us about, and he made his rounds. But we really want to get into the nuts and bolts of it for us people that don't really understand a lot of the jargon, a lot of the language, the difference between arbitration and lawsuits, and what comes of all those. Let's break that down a little bit in kind of layman's terms, so people really know what happened, or what didn't happen, for that matter.
Well, thank you for letting me explain it. First of all, what Paul did officially is file 15 complaints. These are not lawsuits. This is a complaint, which is a legal action, but it's not a lawsuit. And these 15 complaints are on behalf of 15 users of the Whatnot platform. And basically, the assertions in these complaints are wild, guys. I mean, you want to talk about shaking up the hobby. Everything from the accusations are operating like a casino against California law, backdooring information and hits, and just keeping it real simple. Basically encouraging people to use their platform more and more, putting tools in there, maybe to encourage people to bet more than they're comfortable with, or I guess the term is not bet, but they're being alleged for running the casino. When you buy a team in a break, you should be able to buy that team directly. The ability to randomize is what's really at the key of a lot of this. When Whatnot embeds the randomizer, what they're doing is providing a chance game, and it's that game of chance that makes it a casino. And what Paul's doing is trying to defend people that might be vulnerable, and to tell other people to pay attention to Whatnot's terms, conditions. They've changed those. They've put a lot of the cost back on the user if you take them to arbitration. So it's a very long filing that I read, but that's the short of it.
Danny, we've heard and seen everything from this will transform the entire hobby. It's groundbreaking. It's going to have major implications, all the way to people kind of shrugging their shoulders and saying, nothing's going to come of it. I don't expect that we have answers today, but what's your initial vibe of the impact of this?
Behind the scenes, I can tell you that I've heard from people that have used Whatnot before that won't use them again, and that's breakers and consumers. But more importantly, I think it's going to force change legally. And it may, quite frankly, I think Paul's doing a great job of putting media pressure on, and me included, and hopefully get some sort of settlement and get some basic things into the platform. In a casino, you can put yourself on a list, so you are not allowed to bet at that casino to help self-regulate yourself. Whatnot does not offer that, and it's a self-remove list. So hopefully some of these things can be put into place that would make changes for people who really do need them. And I'm one of the people who thinks that the changes are going to have a major impact on the breaking business online.
We say we, maybe it's just me. I know other people have seen it too, but I've seen it on some of the social media forums. The term racketeering get thrown around. Is that something that people
Did I lose you there for a second?
maybe?
It was the most important thing he's ever asked.
No, I'll ask it again. So, social media has a lot of buzzwords. One of them being racketeering. Is that something that has any gist to it?
It's a sexy word, isn't it?
Sure.
I'm not a lawyer. I did not stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. I don't want to be the one in any way to accuse a company of racketeering. That being said, the complaint specifically will be public record if it's not already. I did not check today. It's worth reading. And I'll leave it at that. There are things in there showing text messages and other very, very sexy stuff also.
That's the one thing. One of the guys that made a big post on X yesterday, without going into who it was, everybody knows who it was. Like, he said to read it. Read every single thing, every paragraph, and make your own decision. And that's one thing that I do agree on. He said, read it and make your own decisions and decide what's best for you if that's something that you want to take part in or not, right?
100%. And actually, I think that's good advice in general for anybody who's getting into any online break, anything like that. Know the rules, know the differences, understand exactly what you're getting into. But in this situation, reading that complaint is crucial. If you want to know the behind the scenes mechanics and the details of the allegations, that's where the meat is on the bone, and it's pages and pages of legal jargon, but it is worth it.
So what happens next, Danny, from a time frame standpoint? Is this something that gets resolved pretty quickly? Does Whatnot step up and settle whatever they need to settle, or is this going to get dragged out for a very long time?
My understanding is there's at least or approximately 15 more plaintiffs that are going to be filing arbitration. So this number is going to move from approximately 15 to approximately 30. And that'll be interesting, Jeremy. That's a great question. When it goes to 30 plaintiffs, you start getting into a category of tremendous pressure. And I can't imagine, knowing the hobby drama and knowing how much we all love talking about this, that it'll stop at 30. I think the negative feedback for any company in a situation like this might be too much to take. And I think that whatever the resolution is legally or otherwise, it can't be avoided.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out, because it will play out in front of all of our eyes. It's not something that's going to be happening behind the scenes. And listen, I mean, if people need to read it, they need to watch and be aware.
I mean, there are literally text messages from employees giving information to people. I mean, that's in there. I'm not breaking any confidences here. So when you see an actual text message from somebody to somebody else, that's real. I mean, that, if I'm entering into anything on any platform and I know that something like that exists, and if it's real, then that's a very scary thing.
So regardless of long-term implications for the hobby, it certainly seems it'll have short-term impact on Whatnot itself, the company. So good, bad, or indifferent, if perception is reality oftentimes, and if people start fleeing the platform, that will have financial implications. So we'll stay tuned on that. Certainly lots more to come. Check out the article on collectibles on SI, as well as additional stuff. So Danny, while we have you, what else is going on in the hobby world? That story obviously overwhelmed the masses this week, but the hobby's booming. There's lots to talk about. What's percolating in your world?
I think one of the biggest stories coming out of 2025 and looking into 2026 are the big sales that are going on. The Aaron Judge setting the modern card, baseball card record for sale. The Shohei Judge, did I just say the Judge record? But the Shohei Judge dual autograph card is going to probably break that record. And I think $1 million sales, or was a couple more Wagners. I think that's really the story going forward, is how strong that high end is for auctions. And I believe that will raise everybody. I believe the hobby is strong going forward. But recently, the Jim Irsay collection. If you're not familiar with this, look into the Jim Irsay collection. If you're into the collectibles world at all, a combination of sports, music, entertainment, no meteors that I'm aware of. I'm not sure. But they set some world records on guitar sales. And if you're a Grateful Dead fan, Jerry Garcia's guitar went for $12 or $14 million. And that was this past week. And the online, I'm not even sure if they finished yet. But that had some incredible items. And I encourage anybody who's a fan, if you like walking around shows, or you like walking around and seeing, just pieces of history. That's what the hobby's about.
It's interesting you bring that up. I don't know if it was a year or two ago, we had a conversation with somebody about like pop culture and music memorabilia, and specifically things like handwritten lyrics. When those types of things take off into the astronomical numbers of a $4 million Ohtani Judge card that could end tomorrow night or whenever it ends, and if it gets to 4 million, but how rare are things like that? And when does collectibles like handwritten lyrics start surpassing baseball cards?
Well, Jeremy gave the stat on grading of TCG already being far past sports cards. I'm not sure that we're not a lot closer than people realize. The hobby is very much a insulated bubble of baseball, basketball, football, hockey, soccer cards. And outside of that bubble is a huge collectibles world of non-cards. And I think that tickets were an entry, programs, hand used. I mean, more patches became huge. And to your point, Greeny, handwritten lyrics. I mean, that's even a step closer to the person. It's more than just an autograph. It's the actual work itself that we've fallen in love with and watching it get created. So to me, I think that it's already a lot closer than people realize.
You guys look at a lot of undervalued segments and kind of finding the real underbelly and news of the hobby. In your opinion, what is undervalued these days, and what should people be looking out for outside of the glitz and glamour and the breaks? Where can they find real value?
Autograph cards, vintage Hall of Famers specifically, and they don't have to be expensive. I mean, if you think about a Craig Biggio autograph card, one day that's going to be a part of a great PC or something like that. That is the market that I think is going to grow tremendously. If you can afford somebody a little bit higher, fantastic. But a lot of times the condition of the card is irrelevant. And that's what makes it something that's affordable to go after. If you're going to a card show, you can bring a card that's a beater and get it autographed and have a very valuable piece. So I think autographed vintage cards are a huge market, especially in better condition and more expensive, obviously. But for regular people, there's still a ton out there that you can get, a ton of Hall of Famers that'll sign their cards. And I think that is the biggest growth area, is watching that segment of the vintage population.
It's a really interesting take because, in the TCG world, it's, Charizard's not going to break a leg, or Pikachu's not getting a DUI. The vintage market and the Hall of Famers, they're done. Their careers are established. You know what their value are, as opposed to the speculative market of the modern cards and active players. 100%.
And if you look at somebody like Sandy Koufax, what he charges now for an autograph on a card, I think is something like $1,000. So, I mean, what will that price be in 30 years? You know, if that's the get-in price in 2026, what's the get-in price in 2050? And when you look at, you know, his career, or if you want to look at, you know, Reggie Jackson, or there's so many, you know, guys that you know, we get to enjoy, and to take advantage of that, and to connect with them and actually walk up to them and get to meet them and get their autograph on a card, is so cool and such an experience. And yeah, they're done. They're in the Hall of Fame. You know, they had a great career, and you get to tell that story and pass it down. So you get the joy of the card itself, but you get that personal connection. And I think those connections and experiential things with athletes is where everything's headed.
So I guess Friday's the first official day of spring, and then we'll move to summer, and we'll get to Fanatics Fest and the National. And those two things are really the big culmination of the sports collecting world for this summer. Is there anything big on the horizon that people can look forward to, that's something when they go to this Fanatics Fest or the National?
Well, the World Cup finals are going to be in New York, the same time the Dodgers are playing the Yankees, the same time as Fanatics Fest. I would be pretty sure that, other than driving an Uber, the most money you can make that week will be the Panini FIFA release, because the Panini still has the FIFA license that did not go to Topps. Excuse me, the World Cup license did not go to Topps. So Panini has that, and I think the Panini World Cup cards are going to go through the roof this year. So that's something I would definitely look for. But that whole weekend, Ohtani, Judge, we could see some real records on stuff. I think the hype between the World Cup, the World Baseball Classic, I mean, you've seen what the numbers have been on viewership and card liquidity. And if you fast forward that, and I think put it in Yankee Stadium with the entire world watching, with the World Cup, you know, next door, I just think that the hobby is going to be so strong this summer that it may be since the pandemic, or even higher for a couple months. I really think what you talked about, Greeny, in that time period is going to be exactly when it's exploding.
And then right after Fanatics Fest comes the National, and I know that they already have record numbers of pre-sale tickets. And you know, we saw record numbers the last couple of years, and even so much more this year. This summer for collectibles is probably going to be like no other that we have seen.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I think the interesting thing is the Fanatics Fest has done a good job of separating itself from what type of show it is, from what type of show the National is. And I don't need to tell the two of you, and you're going to talk much more about it when I'm gone, but every show has an identity, and enjoying the identity of that show and what that show is offering specifically allows you to enjoy each show. So if you're going to Fanatics Fest and the National, if you're going to both, there'll be a different experience. If you want to choose one or the other, there's no right or wrong. But I think both are great for the hobby, and hopefully I'll be at both. But either way, you know, I get to play with a lot of cardboard, which is kind of fun.
I was going to ask you that, Danny, if you still enjoy the hobby, or because it's the day job, is it all just noise and you're sorting through it?
I think we were joking around earlier. After all the whatnot fun in the last couple of days, I pulled out my 57 set I'm putting together, and I just started filing cards and organizing. Good old fashioned, just baseball card love. You know, all my raw beaters, putting the set together, and I still do that. And on top of that, I prospect like tennis players and really weird stuff. So I had a good mail day for a couple of days this week, and so I've got to enjoy that a little bit. So definitely still very, very much a card guy. I think all three of us would agree, if we didn't have to work, we'd still play with cards.
No question.
100%. Well, Dan, we appreciate you joining us, especially giving us some insight on the news there. Let everybody know where they can find you and collectibles on SI on any given moment.
Yeah, absolutely. SI.com/collectibles. And personally, I'm Sports Balt, short for Baltimore, at Sports Balt everywhere.
And you got a team playing right now, USMBC or MBC, Baltimore, Maryland, whatever they are a 16 seed that has beaten a 1, and they're a 16 seed again in the first 4. So go enjoy that.
And they're top 10 in chess nationally. So I'll throw that out. Guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Danny, thanks. We'll talk to you soon.
There you go.
Take care.
See ya.
Getting the breaking news you won't get anywhere else. The top 10
That's
chess
right.
team.
Top 10 in chess.
Our thanks to Danny Black, editor-in-chief of Collectibles on SI, part of the Sports Cards Nonsense Network. Make sure you check them out. SI.com/collectibles. So really appreciate that. Appreciate Danny joining us. And we appreciate Sport Card Auctions. Of course, Dave Cook and his team are the experts in this space. If you are looking to turn your sport card collection into serious cash, make sure you head to Sport Card Auctions. They make it simple, professional authentication, and auction services. You just ship their cards, your cards, and they'll handle everything else. They've got from photography to listing to shipping, over 15 years of experience and a 99% satisfaction rating. It's the choice of collectors all over the country, including Greeny Sports Cards. Greeny, when you've got auction stuff to send out, it goes to Sport Card Auctions.
It does. There's a pile on my desk. It started last week. It's growing, and probably in another week, I'll send out another round of auctions and let them do the work.
Very cool. This just in, speaking of collectibles. That is not a meteor, but I wish it was. I wish it was. We'll have to scour Medina County for that stuff. But coming up very shortly, we're going to talk to John Kaufman for Collectors. But before that, it is time for Card Show Live.
Welcome on into this edition of Card Show Live, where we take you around the country and preview some of the good shows that are happening. We're going to start here in Northeast Ohio, the Twinsburg Golf Course Show at Glen Eagles, one of our shows. It's going to happen this Saturday, March the 21st. Glen Eagles Golf Course with an unbelievable view of maybe snowy 9th hole or maybe some sun. Who knows? It's Cleveland, Ohio. But great restaurant in there, so come hang out. There's probably like 25 tables, so it's a smaller show, but it is a great community show and some really great stuff that you'll find here. Glen Eagles Golf Course this Saturday, March 21st. From there, we're going to head out to Glen Burnie, Maryland, where Leo has a show at the Monsignor Slade School. Interestingly enough, his dad started this show in 1989 as a fundraiser for the school. It's quickly grown to 100 tables over the years, and they raise money for the Monsignor Slade School the second Saturday of every month, and pretty good. It's about 80% sports, Leo told me, and they have a fantastic time. They have several vendors that set up at the National in Philly and Chantilly. So for a local little 100-table show, some powerful stuff can be there. Check that out in Glen Burnie, Maryland, this Saturday, March the 21st. From there, we're going to head to Paterson, New Jersey at the Charles Muth Museum of Hincliffe Stadium. Really interesting. And I reached out to them, and this is the second annual show there at the museum. And they build this as a show with a tremendous backdrop. You get the Hincliffe Stadium in the background. They have close to 20 tables, and they bring in some really neat vendors that have stuff that you're not going to see anywhere else. A lot of New York, New Jersey type things. They've had a great turnout last year. They work closely with, and I don't even know that I'm going to pronounce this right, but the Alcyon Fields chapter of the Society of American Baseball Research. So really interesting show there in Paterson, New Jersey at the Charles Muth Museum. There we're going to head to Albany, New York to the Polish Community Center on a Sunday for 110 tables. Scott Trudell does this show there in Albany, and plenty of things. If you are on the East Coast, you know that the amount of collectors that are in this area. So there could be a ton of different things that you may see at a show in Albany, New York, and on the East Coast, and it's an old time collector city, and old time vendors that have been doing these shows for a while. Albany, New York, you'll find that the Polish Community Center, 110 tables on Sunday, and then we come back here to Ohio, a little south of us, to Grove City, and Brad Beeman and company have the Grove City Card Fest at Central Crossings High School, and another fundraiser for the school, and this is specifically for the band there at Central Crossings High School. Brad and Card Collector 2 have been putting on this show for a little bit. And I want to say it's like 275 sports tables, and I think like 90-ish Pokemon, and 2 separate gyms. So you're going to want to get there early. I hear the lines are long. So get in there for the VIP at $5. And then Sunday, this show will happen, March 22nd, the Grove City Card Fest. And that is our top 5 shows to check out this weekend for March Madness. There you have it. Card Show Madness.
Sorry, hey, we're in. Thank you, Greeny, for that edition of Card Show Live. Our next guest is one of the rising voices in hobby media. John Kaufman is creator and co-host of For Collectors, a YouTube show known for its honest collector-first conversations about the state of the hobby, new releases, grading, vintage, and market trends. It's built a reputation for straight talk and community-driven insight, and upcoming, For Collectors is going to host an official trade night following the Strongsville Sports Collectors Convention and the Great Lakes Collectors Convention here in Northeast Ohio on Saturday, April 11th. So with that, we will welcome in our special guest tonight, John Kaufman.
Well,
Hey, John.
thank you for that introduction. I had no idea I had such level of importance. So, but thanks for inviting me, both of you guys. Happy to be here. I'm very excited about the upcoming show. So,
our pleasure. You know, we found if you say it on the interwebs, it's true. So there you have it. There you are.
Yeah. So yeah, I had a chance to talk to Theo maybe a week or 10 days ago on the For Collectors podcast, and we went over a little bit of what's going on with the Great Lakes Collectors Convention, inviting the Strongsville Sports Collectors Convention into one massive show. So 2 shows inside one room, and I know that you guys had been involved last year and brought the trade night to the vintage world, which is one of the things that we do on the modern side, but now bringing it into the vintage side. And I know that you have plans to make it even bigger and better this year, and we want to get a little bit of insight and kind of talk through that with you.
yeah, absolutely. Because last year we did it for the first time back when Strongsville was at the hockey rink, and we did our first ever trade night at the next door Best Western Hotel, and it was a hit. People loved it. Prior leading up to it, there's a lot of skepticism because it wasn't really a thing for people to do generally in the vintage world. But it is went over so well. We're doing it again, and this time it is going to be happening Saturday night, April 11th. It's going to be at the Holiday Inn in a portion of their ballroom, just a few miles north in Independence there from where the show's going to be at. Everybody can get in free. There's no cover charge. It is, we'll have free pizza courtesy of a couple of generous sponsors. We have Collector Investor Auctions, as well as Howard Chasser, a few of my favorite things, who's one of the dealers on the Strongsville side. Because we're just a group of guys that are collectors. Literally, we don't have a moneyed interest in any of this. We do this for the love of it and for our community, and just trying to make a fun event for us all to go to and see each other, because this particular show, being all vintage, is a unique experience for those of us in the vintage collecting. It is a unique having this caliber of dealers, so many and concentrated in one location, that only the national matches the quantity of vintage dealers of this caliber. And here it's just like one right after the other, all lined up next to each other. So it's a dream world for those of us in this vintage card space, really. So
John, we're really close to the best, as close as you can get in this production, and we couldn't be more excited. There's a lot of moving parts still left to do. There's a lot of plans culminating now over the next 3.5 weeks. We know and we recognize there was some reticence and some concern about these two shows coming together, but we are so excited for when people get to experience this, because it is a respectful joining of entities that bring together an experience for the hobby. The Vintage Pavilion will still be on its own. It'll be a separate area. If you are into vintage collecting, you're going to be able to go into that space. There's a space for the modern, there's a space for the TCG, and we're very respectful about making sure that if you want to experience both, you can, but honoring the heritage of what is the longest running vintage show in the country, and just creating an experience for collectors. And so this Great Lakes Collectors Convention, combined with this show, is actually taking 2 additional rooms on the campus of Independence, the field house. And so what people are going to experience is a premier show, a huge show of 50,000 square feet of tables for vintage, modern TCG. There's well over 20 celebrity athletes, Hall of Famers announced at this point. And I can't wait for this show, because we know what it is shaping up to be. And once people get in the room, I think they're going to experience that. Where is your head at from having experienced the show previously and the expectations for this year?
I'm very excited to see the new venue. From just what I've seen of photos online, it's somewhat limited because it's like a government-owned thing, so they don't promote it that well. But it definitely seems like it will be a upgrade in terms of a venue to have a show like this at, relative to half of a shutdown ice rink. So I'm clearly looking forward to that aspect of it, being a much more well-suited venue to house something like this. So
yeah, we can tell you from experience, since we've been in that room for the last 3 years promoting the Great Lakes Collectors Convention. You will love it. You will love the rubberized floor. You'll love the ceilings that are hundreds of feet in the air. I mean, it has a tremendous feel for it. It feels like sports, and I know the hockey rink felt like sports because it's a hockey rink. But I mean, you'll see the basketball nets there, and just the comfortability of the room, divided into the 2 sections, which I think will be terrific. And the people that want to hang out just on the modern side, or people that want to hang out just on the vintage side, is fine. You want to walk through the curtain, because there'll be openings there, and check out everything. You're welcome to do that too.
Oh yeah. And to me, I'm not concerned that much. I mean, honestly, I wish the National would subdivide things based off of genre, because it's so much damn walking as it's laid out with everything mixed up. So, but yeah, so to me, I'm not concerned, but I mean, I know people are, but I think from what I'm hearing from you guys and from Mikey and his guys, I have faith that you've got it covered. So
Well, we do appreciate that. We know change is difficult. It's difficult for anybody, no matter what. But the industry is always evolving, right? And we've seen that. And there's different spaces for everything. And even some of the major shows that have vintage-esque type feels to it still have a lot of the new things too. And I know Philly's one of those big ones that is traditionally a vintage show. But we're hoping that Sunday night when the show ends, people walk away and say, you know what, it was way better than I expected. So,
And, with the collectors coming in for this, that's a big part of what makes the experience too. So uh, I feel like in this vintage space, especially, you're typically dealing with older guys who aren't as competing anymore. It's a much friendlier atmosphere than what at least observationally see in some of the modern guys that are a bit younger. But we're comfortable in our own skins, and we're just there to have a good time and talk about these pieces of cardboard we love. So
That's always my favorite part, John, is I don't buy and sell cards. I collect stuff, as you can see, but it's the people, it's the relationships, it's getting to reconnect with people from all over the country. And this venue is going to allow a lot more of that because it's bigger, it's more expansive, there's room to move around. So we're looking forward to that, looking forward to the trade night on Saturday, April 11th. Let's take you back a little bit on For Collectors. Tell us about For Collectors itself, but start with how you got into the hobby and how it evolved into that show that you guys do on YouTube.
Well, as far as myself, I was someone who had honestly, a gap in collecting, and I got pulled back in by lockdown and needing something to make me happy. So I finally cracked the boxes open that had been traveling with me forever of my old baseball cards. And then I found the glorious space of you can buy anything you want at a moment's notice on eBay. That is crazy compared to the last time I collected. So from there I took off. I got into this YouTube space just about 3.5 years ago. And what happened there is Theo and I, Clemente Collector is his channel. I am the 3D 80s Kid, my individual channel. We just wanted to build something together that was a collaboration space for our collector community, of where anybody who brought us an idea of a show, we'd be willing to throw it together and have them join in even. That's still the attitude we bring to it even today. And we've been going on now with For Collectors for 2.5 years. And it's just gotten bigger and better. We added into the mix a big event. One of those things you said, what are people looking forward to this summer? We do this thing that in our community is called Hobby Palooza, which is basically a continuous weekend of collector live stream shows. We are doing it on behalf of a charity. Actually, we contribute to Signatures for Soldiers. Our first year of doing these marathons, where there be prizes given away, things donated to give away, and we raised over $6,000 the first year we did it, and last year it was $8,500 we contributed to this Signatures for Soldiers, which is entity that's actually linked directly with the National as one of their favored charities. And it's an organization that contributes directly to disabled veterans and gets them services and help that they need. So literally, when we were handing the check for this last time, he already knew which person this money was going to go help. So I mean, that was a good feeling for us, just hobbyists, gathering together, having fun over an entire weekend, doing what we love, and raising money for a charity like this. It'll be coming again in July on For Collectors. So
that's fantastic stuff. Yeah, I'm very familiar with Signatures for Soldiers, so that is terrific. I'm going to definitely check that out this summer when you guys do that.
Oh yeah, I'll certainly. Maybe you guys want to do an hour program as part of it. So, but
we can certainly look at that.
Yeah,
we'd be happy to, particularly if it's helping veterans.
Yeah, we ended up expanding it this last year all the way to where it started Friday night, and then went all day Saturday till late in the evening, and then all day Sunday till like 10 p.m.
Huh.
And it was like 26 or 27 hours of live stream shows. So
Hobby Palooza. Love it.
but you know, shout
John,
out
what's
to,
the most
oh, go ahead.
interesting piece in your collection, or your kind of go-to? If I told you got to pull 5 cards off that back wall right there, what are you leaning into?
Well, my biggest project I've got going is trying to collect one Playing Days card of every player Hall of Famer. So, you know, and one of the things for me is I do not have tons of cards in boxes. I wanted everything visible where I can see it. So it's literally, this is the peak here of my collection right behind me. So I mean, I guess I can grab a couple if you want me to. Oh,
Yeah,
what are you showing?
we're showing your YouTube and your Jim Palmer 73. Is that, or 73 tops? Yeah. I
Oh,
see.
that's a show I do on For Collectors that I call 5 cards every collector should own. It's open to anybody who sends me an email to be a part of the show. And the stipulation there is that the first 4 cards people show have to be less than $100, because I'm trying to promote the idea that cards can still be awesome and affordable. So, with their 5th card, then that's all options are on the table in terms of budget. So, you know, I view that as the card that they view worth saving up for. So, but
No, so I guess speaking of that, when you come to Strongsville, what's the one card you're looking for?
funny thing on that for me personally, I've been to 2 nationals now, and this will be my 2nd Strongsville. For me personally, it has worked out that the month prior to attending every single one of these shows, a key card that I have been hunting for has come up for an auction, and I have blown most of my budget before each of these shows every time. And the same can be said this Sunday. I made a big purchase. So it happened again. And I haven't shown that card yet because it hasn't arrived. So I don't want to reveal my secrets before I do my own video on it. But
yeah, well, and you don't want to jinx it. You want to make sure it arrives.
Oh yeah. You know, I have faith. I do it with the legitimate big auction houses, typically those types of things. But you know, speaking of which, before my first national, I'll just grab it.
There you go, John.
Can't resist pulling off the wall.
Yeah,
sure.
That's perfect. That's what they're doing.
This is where my money went. So
okay.
Is that George Herman? Yeah.
It is a 1920 W519 unnumbered version of Babe Ruth. This would be his first year with the Yankees. And this one in particular, there's somewhere around 150 copies of in existence. There's a couple other varieties to this one that are a little rare, but I just loved getting this one because many of them are kind of oversaturated with the color and they turn his face really pink. So I felt very fortunate to get this one that looked a bit more on the lifelike side. So, but
very cool. I love it. We can't wait for this show. Strongsville and the Great Lakes Collectors Convention, the trade night. So again, that's going to happen Saturday night at the Independence Holiday Inn. How many people do you guys expect to show up for that?
Well, we did a sign-in sheet last year, and we were pretty close to 100 people came, so we're expecting even more. I think we have a slightly more square footage this year, and we got like half of the ballroom for the at the Holiday Inn. So, did I mention we're free pizza as well? Free entry and free pizza. So
Yeah, I mean that's worth the price of admission.
It's
right
not
there.
Giannino's, but
Oh, well,
it
we're
is
hoping it was.
the catering of the Holiday Inn that we were
Yeah,
required
sure.
to use.
The
So there you
Holiday
go.
Inn is a good place. Kim, our contact over there, does a terrific job and hooked us all up with hotel room blocks for everybody, and it'll be an enjoyable place for people to congregate after the show. So
Oh
we
yeah, and
look forward
especially
to
it should be convenient for a lot of the people traveling because that is the dealer primary hotel that they advertised, as well as for then outside anyone traveling to the show. So
Well, John, we
but,
think you're gonna love it. The vintage dealers are gonna love it. There's a dedicated team that wants nothing but to put on the best possible show for all facets of the hobby. And we just think the energy in the room is going to be incredible. And the deals, as you said, the dealers that come to this on the vintage side are remarkable. And Greeny's team always does a fantastic job pulling in some of the best vendors in the country. So collectively, that's going to be the place to be. Independence, Ohio, which is essentially Cleveland, the weekend of April 10th through 12th for the Strongsville Sports Collectors Convention and the Great Lakes Collectors Convention, co-located, two great shows, one location, one destination. You've got your 2 of 2 right there. So looking forward to seeing you there.
looking forward to seeing you guys. It was great talking to you tonight. So
great. Thanks, John. We'll see you soon.
thank you.
All right. Our thanks to John Kaufman from 4 Collectors. You can check their show out on YouTube. As he said, he's been doing that about 2 years with a cast of thousands, and really great stuff. Greeny, you were on that show recently as well.
I was with another guy, Theo, and Mikey from Strongsville. We went over kind of the nuts and bolts of the shows and how it came to be, and look forward to this show, and we can't wait to show it to everybody.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And as if you don't have enough going on before the Great Lakes Collectors Convention, you've got a couple of shows coming up here in Northeast Ohio. What does that look like?
Yeah, we have this Saturday, as we said in Card Show Live, the Twinsburg show at Glen Eagles. The week after, we'll have Broadview Heights on March the 28th. And then from there, we have April 3rd and 4th, the Great Northern Mall. And then the week after that will be the Great Lakes Collectors Convention. And then we will take a week off and then maybe take a nap. But these next couple weeks are fun filled with cards. So the next 4 weeks, we have a lot going on and culminating in the Great Lakes Collectors Convention, April 10th through the 12th.
And Danny Black referenced it, the Hall of Famers are undervalued. There's at least 4 or 5 that are going to be at Great Lakes. You've got Joe DeLamalure, you've got Dave Robinson, you've got who else? Joe Thomas coming in. Randy Gradisher. It's going to be an awesome event. So we're looking forward to that. Our thanks this evening to Haley on the board behind the scenes, running the engine here for us, doing a tremendous job as always. Danny Black from Collectibles on SI, editor-in-chief, joined us with the big news from Whatnot this week involving Whatnot. John Kaufman, 4 Collectors. Green, is there an auction tonight with Alex?
That's a great question. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe. Typically 9 o'clock, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Typically
so
9 o'clock. Check Greeny Sports Cards eBay. I know that he's still working out the bottle kinks with his newborn, so maybe not. And last but not least, before we go, I wanted to give a shout out to my friend Dr. Brewer, who wore his green Greeny shirt for St. Patrick's Day today, and we appreciate Dr. Brewer for doing that. And everybody else, have a terrific St. Patrick's Day and a great card show weekend coming up. And with that, Jeremy, have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night. Greeny, may the cards forever be in your favor.